Well, what's going on, folks? Welcome to Chatterbox Reds here on this lovely Labor Day. Craig, my friend, how we doing?
Hey, happy Labor Day. Hope you're doing well. We're doing well here. Just got a haircut today.
Oh,
leaving
okay.
for Vegas tomorrow. So,
Oh,
yep.
okay. All right.
They kept Pagan in. I can take these off for now.
We don't have pecan glasses yet.
No Pagan glasses. But hey, maybe Diaz will get warming in the pen, and we'll
Did Red
need
just
him.
announce a starter for tomorrow? Did I just see that? Chad, is anyone watching the game? I thought I just saw Nick Martinez's face. Didn't he pitch like 2 days ago? I have no idea what's going on with the Reds pitching, man.
Hey, man. Aguilar went on 3 days rest today. Nick Martinez going on short rest. Who knows? Let's see.
Was it Martinez? Molly, it was Martinez?
We'll see. But was that projected or was that confirmed?
Oh,
I guess they would probably say.
Bally. I wouldn't think they would put a fake. Well, the old tie and runs at the plate.
With Justin Wilson warming. Exactly who you'd expect.
So they're saying Martinez. And you know what I can do here, Craig? Because they just put this pretty little graphic. I went on MLB.tv. I'm going to screenshot it, and I'm going to steal their graphic. We're going to put that into our Google Slides. So
there you go.
Make a new slide, baby. We're back.
Using the resources at our disposal, baby.
All right, we got one down. Have you watched any of this game, Craig? I was just watching the Dragons. I wasn't paying attention to the.
I watched the whole thing. Yeah, we're good. I had the Dragons on, but I was paying a lot closer attention to the Reds game than the Dragons game. Although I did see that crazy play by Leo Balcazar towards the end of the game. That was pretty nice. And the contact play, not to get into our rundown too early, but
contact play, baby. Only run scored.
All right, here we go. Altuve and then Alvarez for the game. Not that it matters, but Reds.com does not yet show a starter.
Yeah. Wow.
Let's see if Charlie has anything. It's typically pretty quick on that when it's announced. No. We'll keep an eye on it. Projected starter till otherwise confirmed.
Kind of catchy, isn't it?
It is.
Dun, 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 dun.
Oh, man. Oh, come on, Emilio. Let's just make this as quick as possible.
You got places to be, Craig, or?
I mean, no. Not particularly. Oh, boy. All right. Thank you.
Sit down, boy.
0 for 4 day for Altuve.
You hate to see it.
All right. Big at bat here. I don't know. I might go get Justin Wilson. Oh, there. Okay. David Bell going to get Justin Wilson.
Oh, God. Justin Wilson, man. Oh. Wilson's been a struggle of late.
I know, but you can't afford to go Alvarez versus Pagan.
I know. Although I'm not really sure Jordan has that drastic of splits. Like he's an incredible hitter.
He's really good.
Let's check this. Career splits.
You got career. I'll go 2024.
989 OPS versus right-handed pitchers. 969 versus left-handed pitchers.
Versus left-handed pitchers. Here, let's start here. Versus right-handed pitchers this year, batting 287 with a 943 OPS this year. Against left-handed pitchers, hitting 369 with a 1031 OPS.
Yeah, I don't know.
Oh boy. For what it's worth, though, 23 of his 30 home runs have come against right-handed pitchers. So maybe you just don't want to give up the home run here. And I don't know.
Why don't we just put Alvarez on?
Put him on base and then
face
the go-ahead run at Diaz?
I'm not sure. I don't know if I ever want to put the winning run at the plate at Great American Ballpark. You know, like.
Yep, a tough situation. Put your managerial hat on here. What are you doing?
You pitched to him. I mean,
but are you pitching to him with Pagan or with Wilson? Do you care?
I'm probably going to go Pagan just because Diaz is a right-handed batter next, and there's a chance you're either one of these guys, Pagan or Wilson, can get cute and end up having to face Diaz. Oh boy.
Well, let's see how it works out. Hayward on third. Alvarez at the plate. Justin Wilson on to face him. Nowhere close.
This is like I have a good feeling Wilson's gonna not really go at him, and he's gonna end up facing Diaz anyways.
Yeah,
I think you should pitch to him. I mean, I don't. You don't want to put the winning run at the plate in this ballpark. Swinging 3-0.
I mean, to be fair, he got a fastball thigh high down the middle, so thank your lucky stars he just fouled it away.
That's why you pitch to him.
There we go.
That's why you pitch to him.
Bang.
L8
Craig to end the game. Give me that long intro, Nick.
Oh, baby.
Bench to bench. Change in the air to deep right field. Back goes Clemente. And the save. He's done. Get out of here, baseball. It's gone. Oh, my God. You believe it. Johnny Bench has tied it up. The Cincinnati Reds win the World Series in 4 straight. It was a sweep. In the dirt. It's a wild pitch. Here comes Foster. The Reds win the pennant. Perkins won the game. That ball is fair. Cincinnati's ahead. 2 games to none. Welcome, Joe Randa to Cincinnati. Adam Dunn has done it again. Benzinger backing and calling. And the 1990 World Championship belongs to the Cincinnati Reds.
Marty, yes. This is Adam from Milwaukee. Hey, Adam, how you doing? I'm good. How are you? Good. Do you think Scott Chatterbox is a good player?
Dunn up there with the bases loaded, the outfield deep and around toward right, and the 1-0 on the way to the plate. Swung on, long drive, right field, and this one belongs to the Reds.
And a high drive, hit back into deep right field. Junior has just
De La Cruz is, oh my goodness, look at this kid run. My, oh my, that is a triple.
Matt McClain's first big league bomb.
Spencer Steer's first big league hit is a home run to straightaway center field. Joey Votto's done it again.
The pitch. Votto swings high in the air. Right field. Yes! He pointed to the dugout to say, I told you. That is Joey Votto's 315th career go-ahead ribby. Only Johnny Bench had more as a Red.
And I can't tell you how much it means to play in front of everyone here in Cincinnati as a Red. What a gift. What a tremendous gift. So thank you. Thank you.
I think I can speak for all of Reds country. Joey Votto, thank you.
High drive, left center field, racing back to the line, Bourgeois. The Reds are National League Central Division champions. In the air, left center field. Did he? He did! He did! Reds win! Line to the right field. Genius, the first Red ever. With 4 home runs in a game. Can you believe it? In the air, down the right field line. Doesn't have a chance. The Reds have won on a 3-run home run on opening day by Ramon Hernandez. A strike away and out away is Homer Bailey. Ground ball to third. Frazier gloves. Throw to first and Homer Bailey, for the second time in his major league career, has tossed a no-hitter. Oh, gosh. Oh, my God. Are you kidding me? Holy Moses, the second player in major league history to hit 7 home runs in the first 10 games. In the air, and the Reds win. What a dream beginning to the career of Trey Bruce.
All right, friends, what's going on? Welcome to Chatterbox Reds. Nick Kirby joined with Craig Sandlin on this lovely Labor Day as the Cincinnati Reds win a ball game, win their 7th consecutive game against the Houston Astros. So that's pretty cool. Craig, how are we doing, my friend?
Hey, another Reds victory. We're feeling good. 2 in a row. I think some people call that a winning streak, Nick.
I believe that is what some folks call it. We're going to talk a lot about the game, but the story of the day is the Dayton Dragons. And, cute win by the Reds. But the story is our beloved Dayton Dragons. They are going to the playoffs for the first time since 2017. A really cool story. Craig, I know you were watching a little bit of the Dragons game, more of the Reds game. I was watching more of the Dragons game, a little bit of the Reds game. But in all seriousness, really cool for the Dragons. As mentioned, their first time since 2017. They're going to play a 3-game series against Lake County. That starts next Tuesday, September 10th. Game 1 will be in Dayton. Then they'll be off on Wednesday the 11th. Then they'll play Game 2 on Thursday, September 12th in Lake County. That's in East Lake, Ohio, just east of Cleveland. And then if necessary, Game 3 would be in the Cleveland area on Friday night. Lake County, the Guardians affiliate, has Travis Bazzana on the squad. So this is going to be a really fun series. I'm looking forward to it. Trace, who was down at the ballpark today, I believe is going to try to go to the game in Dayton. And then I will for sure be at the game or games up in Lake County. So really looking forward to it. The game, we'll talk a little bit more about the game when we get to our traditional Reds MILB. Dragons only got 1 hit, a bunt single from Jay Allen. But as the Dragons have done a lot of late, they drew a ton of walks in this one. 5 walks. This team has really kind of shown a lot of patience. And it's just really it's really cool to see. There's several players on the Dragons, particularly Hector Rodriguez, that I think that the Reds could have called up to Double-A. But I think they kind of wanted to keep this team and this core together, let them play for something. And I think that's really cool. I'm really excited to see. This was the minor league team, Craig, that coming into the year, everyone was really excited about. They had all the top prospects. They had all the shiny toys. But in the first half, it just didn't happen for this team. You had a lot of players start slow. Cam Collier had an incredible April, but then completely fell off a cliff in May and in June. There was some injuries as well. This team is missing Sal Stewart and Carlos Jorge right now, two of their top prospects. But they really have battled back. Cam Collier has been incredible of late. Ethan O'Donnell and Leo Balcazar both had really bad first halves. Two players that were on the Reds' top 30 prospect list when this season started, but they both fell off when the midseason update happened. And as soon as they fell off, they took off. Both of those guys have been absolutely on fire. And then Hector Rodriguez leads the Midwest League in hits. So I'm looking forward to it next week. I think it's really cool. And the Daytona Tortugas, not to be outdone, they also have a very good chance of clinching a playoff spot this week. So looks like some good things happening in the Reds organization. When you're having it down here in the big leagues, it's nice to see that at least the minor leagues there's having some teams going to the playoffs, something that the Reds organization has not had a lot of. They have not had a lot of teams go to the playoffs. So, Craig, any initial thoughts here on the Dayton Dragons clinching a playoff spot?
Well, to your point, you mentioned a lot of names that are really high on the Reds kind of rankings in terms of prospects. And to me, that's the most exciting part of this, is that you're getting guys who you view as the future playoff experience. And we've heard from others about the value that you have when prospects are able to go through that process, go through an entire season, and ultimately go into a playoffs. You've got guys, you mentioned Cam Collier, you mentioned Leo Balcazar, but you've also got guys that are viewed as future major leaguers in Sal Stewart and Jay Allen and Carlos Jorge and all of these guys. The list goes on and on. This single A team in Dayton really is loaded with a lot of guys who could make an impact at the major league level in the next 2, 3, 4 years. And so it's exciting for them to get this opportunity. I know you'll have a lot of fun at the game. I'm sure Trace and his family will as well. So excited for the Dayton Dragons and their fan base, and excited for you and Trace as well.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. It's cool too. This Dragons team, I do not believe they've had a single top 30 pitching prospect on the roster all year. I know they don't currently, but I don't think they at any point have had one. Their pitching has kind of been pieced together. In fact, they lost their closer, actually got promoted to Double-A. And they've really pieced together their pitching. They've had a lot of guys that have really performed well for them. But yeah, so there's really been the offense kind of carrying them. But yeah, it's gonna be really cool, really exciting. And Travis Bazzana, it's gonna be cool too, because like guys like Cam Collier, they're gonna have a lot more eyeballs on them, because people that follow minor league baseball are gonna want to see certainly what Travis Bazzana does in a playoff game. So there'll be some excitements. Good chance it ends up being like the MILB free game of the day. So and we'll make sure we'll keep you posted on how you can watch it. We're gonna do post-game shows, but I think our post-game shows next week on the days the Dragons are probably playing are probably a little bit more about the playoff games than the Reds fighting out the string here in September, but nonetheless, very exciting. All right. Any other thoughts on the Dragons before we get to the Reds, and then we'll run through the box score for the Dragons here at the end of the show?
Nope. All good.
All right, Craig, you ready for the box score recap?
Let's do it. As always, the box score recap presented by Nicholas Kirby. The Reds welcomed AL West leading Houston Astros to Cincinnati for the first of a split 3-game series on Monday. They'll have tomorrow, Tuesday, off. Julian Aguilar took the bump for the Reds, going up against his idol, future Hall of Famer Justin Verlander. Verlander, making just his third start following an IL stint that had to miss all of July, walked the first 3 batters he faced in this one. TJ Friedel then hit a sac fly to right field to score Jonathan India. After a Spencer Steer pop-out, Ty France sent a ball up the middle, scoring Ellie De La Cruz, making the score 2-0 Reds after 1. Jason Hayward walked to lead off the top of the third, followed by a double by Chas McCormick. Jose Altuve then grounded out, and the Reds intentionally walked Yordan Alvarez to load the bases with 1 out. Diaz then singled to right field over the head of India, scoring Hayward and McCormick, knotting the score at 2 apiece. With 2 outs in the 5th, the Reds get hits from France and Fraley before a bloop to right field from Santiago Espinal lands just out of reach of the diving Jose Altuve. Both runners score, and the Reds take a 4-2 lead, chasing Verlander from the game. Rosario would face Caleb Ort, and after Espinal steals second for his career-best 9th stolen base of the year, Rosario drives a single up the middle, extending the Reds' lead to 5-2 through 5. Carson Spires would work a scoreless 5th and 6th, then walk Altuve and give up a double to Alvarez in the 7th before being pulled in favor of Emilio Pagan. Yanier Diaz would hit a sacrifice fly, bringing home Altuve, and it was 5-3 Reds. Pagan would work a perfect 8th, and Pagan would allow Jason Hayward to reach in the 9th. And then with 2 outs, David Bell turns to Justin Wilson to face Yordan Alvarez as the tying run. Alvarez lines out to center field to secure the Reds' 5-3 win. Reds improved to 66-73 on the year.
All right, and we did not have a deep drive of the day. The Dayton Dragons only got 1 hit, a bunt single, so they certainly did not have a deep drive either. So our deep drive of the day is actually not even going to be a home run, but bear with me here. Bear with me here for a second. So yesterday, Joey Wiemer hit a ball 114.6 miles per hour. It was the hardest hit ball in professional baseball yesterday. The hardest hit recorded in Major League Baseball, AAA, and there's a few teams in low A that have a StatCast number. So shout out to Joey Wiemer hitting the hardest ball of the day. That's cool to see. Wiemer's played a little bit better of late. Obviously, got to a really brutal start coming over to the Reds organization, but he's played a lot better of late. So Joey Wiemer, our deep drive of the day, and our deep drive of the day sponsored as always by Deep South Commodities. DSC is a leader in renewable commodities for biofuel production. They specialize in used cooking oil collection, aggregation, and sales. Visit www.deepsouthcommodities.com for more information. Thanks as always to our friends at DSC. All right, 7 in a row against the Houston Astros. Baseball's just dumb, Craig. I don't know what else to say. I mean, again, like I encourage people the next time the Reds, and really at this point of the year, it doesn't really matter what happens the rest of the year, but I encourage people, go ahead and put this one in your memory bank. Next mid-May 2025, when the Reds get swept by some bad team, and you're like, how can this team possibly lose to this team? Well, you won 7 in a row against the Houston Astros. Baseball makes no sense on an individual nightly basis. But cool. I mean, the Astros have been to the American League Championship in 7 consecutive years. And during that span, the Reds were 7-0 against that team. Like, I don't know.
And this is, I mean, Nick, me and you are old enough to remember the days of the Houston Astros absolutely owning the Cincinnati Reds back in the day of, Roy Oswalt and Lance Berkman and all of these guys. They used to dominate the Reds every time they saw them. And now the Reds have won 48 of the last 67 games against the Houston Astros. They've won 7 straight, as you said. They've won 19 of their last 24 series with the Astros. And they've swept their last 2 series, obviously 6 straight, and 3 of their last 4. So for whatever reason, it flopped. The Reds now own the Houston Astros. Baseball's a funny, funny game, Nick. And again, coming into today, you're facing a Hall of Fame pitcher in Justin Verlander. Obviously, Verlander hasn't been the same over the last couple outings since coming back from the IL, but, it just, you get swept by the Oakland Athletics, and then you come back and beat the Houston Astros. It just, it is how it is.
Justin Verlander going up against 2 1/3 from Julian Aguilar, 2 1/3 from Carson Spires. Emilio Pagan, I didn't even know he was capable of going 2 1/3. I mean, baseball's
I was just gonna say, I did a really bad job with the box score recap today, especially compared to last night. We know how great last night's was. I did a really bad job. We have to give a really quick shout out Ty Stevenson had 2 hits today. Espinal 2 hits today. Ahmed Rosario 2 hits today. And Ty France, you talked about it last night on the broadcast. Ty France, for whatever reason, dominates Justin Verlander. 4 for 4 today out of Ty France. I think he's hitting 379 now lifetime against Justin Verlander. Like, silly game, Nick. Silly game.
Baseball always has like these weird quirks every year, but it does feel like the Reds this year, it's been even like more exasperated. Like with beating the Dodgers and the Yankees and the Phillies, and now winning a game against the Astros. It feels like this year in particular has been even more crazy than you normally would expect. Because you're always going to have series and individual games that don't make sense over the course of a baseball season. But this year, it's just like on an entirely different level. And I don't really know how to explain it.
Yeah. Sometimes it's better not to try and explain it, Nick. Sometimes you just got to let it be.
And it's okay, Craig. This was a holiday box score recap. I mean, you get what you get. All right, so let's talk about the offense, Craig. I mean, there's a lot of good stuff. Nice to see, Ahmed Rosario, Santiago Espinal both have 2 hits. As mentioned, Ty France. These were the 3 guys that certainly were not a big fixtures in the Reds offense at the beginning of the year or even in the organization. But those 3 guys are all playing pretty well. Let's start with Ty France. I really like Ty France. I think I want the Reds to keep him. It depends on what's out there on the free agent market. It's almost like Ty France is like this guy that I really like, but I don't. It's like he doesn't really fit the Reds' need. Like the Reds have so many first base DHs throughout the organization. Not to mention Christian Encarnacion and Strand, who we haven't saw in forever, but I still think it's the guy that's gotten forgotten about the most that I think is going to be the biggest impact next year in terms of players that people have forgotten about. I don't know if there's necessarily a need for Ty France, but I don't know. I'm a big fan of him and his game and just, kind of being a big bat, and he doesn't cost a whole lot of money either.
Well, he doesn't cost a whole lot of money, and he brings you professional at bats. The thing is, and we're going to talk about Jake Fraley later and a number of guys, I'm sure. He brings you professional at bats. And sometimes that feels like what this team has been missing. And so he almost serves a little bit as like a stabilizer, right? And it's the same thing that can be said for guys like Santiago Espinal, guys like Ahmed Rosario. They're just guys who go up there, they work the count, they get professional at bats in, and they really kind of stabilize and keep you from kind of getting into some really bad momentum shifting the other way. And so when you have those 3 guys kind of scattered throughout your lineup, it makes you feel really good about not having too many stretches of getting like 9 straight outs or 11 straight outs or whatever it may be, because you feel good about having those guys in your lineup and them working the count and getting professional at bats in. Ty France today, single, double, single, all of the balls felt really solidly hit. It didn't feel like he was cheated on anything. And again, I've said it before, he just works good at bats. Like even when he isn't getting on base, he's working good at bats. Obviously it didn't happen today, but we saw in the last couple of days, he just works the pitches. And so, on a day like today where Justin Verlander throws over 100 pitches in 4 2/3 innings, it can be chalked up to guys like Ty France putting together professional at bats. And when you can get to a bullpen more times than not, that's going to be beneficial for you as an offense.
Yeah, and not to mention Jonathan Indy and Ellie De La Cruz. We'll get to the pop-up heard around the world in the back half of the show. Don't worry. But Indy and Ellie De La Cruz both had 2 walks. Nice to see at the top of the order, both of the guys drawing walks. Set the tone in this game with Justin Verlander. Got his pitch count up, which I think was a big reason why the Reds won this game today. But at the bottom of the order, Santiago Espinal and Ahmed Rosario just provide a very different look for this team. 2 guys that can put the ball in play. I know old school baseball fans love it. I am not a old school baseball fan, but I also kind of love it. I thought I was completely okay with just the full 3 true outcomes. And for the most part, I am. But it is nice to have 1 or 2 guys that could just kind of balance that out a little bit, can put the ball in play. And I do think they provide some balance. And I don't know. Amed Rosario, again, not a player that fits the Reds perfectly. I know we've already talked about Santiago Espinal. I think we all probably agree he should be a lock at this point. So I don't think we need to belabor that. But Amed Rosario, maybe a guy that could be a good platoon piece for this team next year. I think that's a reason he's still around, and Dom Smith is not. Dom Smith clearly does not have a purpose really for the Reds in 2025 because they have a bunch of left-handed batters. They don't need him, but they don't have a lot of right-handed batters that are, I don't know, above average hitters. And I think Amed Rosario definitely is that. So again, do I think it's super likely Amed Rosario is on the 2025 Reds? No, but I wouldn't put it past what he does the rest of the year, meaning nothing. I think there actually could be some sort of an audition there and a chance for the Reds to bring him back.
Well, you got guys like Jonathan India and Tyler Stevenson who have both shown an ability to be at very minimum average hitters this year. I think both of them are slightly above average from the right-hand side. So, I do think that there's some potential there. I think Rosario being a switch hitter probably gives you a little bit more flexibility there versus someone like Santiago Espinal. Espinal, obviously, ARB3 eligible and is probably not going to cost you a whole lot to keep around. Having a flexible infielder who can, and apparently outfielder, who can play seemingly every position on this team is certainly beneficial. I think one of the things that we saw early on with this team was that they were living and dying by the long ball. And so having guys on the team who you can rely on to put balls in play and get on base so that you don't have to rely on that long ball every single time you're trying to score a run provides a lot of value. Now, whether or not they're going to get every day at bats next year or not, probably not, but that doesn't mean that you can't find ways to get them into the lineup regularly in order to kind of give different guys spells. Certainly CES probably early on in the year, not going to be able to play every single day. If he's back and healthy, we'll see what we get out of Noelvi Marte next year. Obviously the question's still up in the air there. I don't know what the Reds are going to do in the outfield. So long story short, I think that while I recognize the fact that the long ball is what draws in fans, and for you, obviously there's a lot of benefit to it and all the statistics behind it, not denying that. But the long ball is only so valuable if you've got guys on. And while it may be easier to hit one home run out of the ballpark, for me personally, if you have 3 or 4 guys who you can consistently rely on getting base hits, it's a lot easier to string together a couple singles and doubles to be able to get get some runs on the board.
Yeah. All right, let's get over to the pitching side. We'll start off with Julian Aguilar. I don't know if I think a whole lot out about this start today. Pitching on short rest. I'm confused a little bit about what the Reds' plan is there. I don't know. Maybe it's just because of the weird off day, kind of threw a wrench into what they're trying to do and set him up. I don't know if I love pitching a guy that's 23 years old on short rest. I kind of feel like maybe you should have thrown someone else to the wolves, but I don't know. I don't know. I don't make a whole lot of Aguilar start today. I think this is valuable experience for him. I think that's pretty much about it. I don't really think there's a whole lot more to make out of it. I don't think he was terrible today. I don't think he was great today. I think it just felt to me like I chalk it up to, all right, Aguilar getting some experience.
I mean, I thought he was pretty good. I mean, I realized that he ended up with the 2 runs. I think the 3rd inning got away from him a little bit, walking Hayward and then giving up that double to McCormick. But his first 2 innings, he looked really good. He got a nice play out of Ellie early in the did not get a nice play out of Ellie. Got a nice play out of Tyler Stevenson to get that bunt from Mauricio Dubon. But nonetheless, I think it's the Reds are in a position right now where they're just trying to get through the year. And unfortunately, what that means is whoever is rested enough to be able to take the mound is going to be on the mound. And I don't make a whole lot out of the whole conversation of, he's going on 3 days rest or whatever. They said that he skipped a side session that he would normally have thrown. He was on a pitch count today, obviously. honestly, like, I realize that starting pitchers who are going 5, 6, 7 innings regularly every 5 days is a little bit different, but they all have their own routine, and most of them are throwing significant number of pitches on off days as well. It's not like they're just doing nothing for 4 days, 5 days, 6 days in between starts. So asking someone to go back out there and instead of their bullpen work being a bullpen, asking them to start a game, not the end of the world. Obviously not ideal, but to do it for a month at the end of the season when you've got 6 starting pitchers on your injury list, I mean, sometimes you just got to bite the bullet.
Yeah, I'm with you. It's not the end of the world. I just don't think you're in a position where you need to be desperate enough. I don't know. Maybe there's something more they know about Aguiar and think that it's completely fine. But I don't know. I didn't love it. I didn't love the idea of it, but it is what it is. I like the experience that Aguiar is getting, though.
Well, for sure, you like the experience, and I think we've had conversations plenty about experience at the major league level for some of these prospects who may or may not be part of the 2025 plans. But again, you have literally 6 pitchers on the injury list that are projected starters. I have this stat, and I haven't really brought it out yet, but the Reds are tied for second in the majors with 60 players having made an appearance for them this year. They trail only the Miami Marlins. The club record is 66, and that was back in 2022. 15 rookies have played in at least one game. 9 players have made their major league debuts. 31 different pitchers have appeared in a game for the Reds this year. 31. I mean, it just, sometimes you just got to do what you got to do. And I get it. I don't love it, but the pushback, as always, is okay. If you don't love it, what's your alternative?
Calling up someone from the ACL Reds and making him throw so Aguiar doesn't have to pitch on 2 days rest.
Okay, and who are you sending down off of your major league roster in order to make that happen?
Yeah,
because then they're down for at least 15 days and you can't call them back up. So it's not like you can just send Aguiar down in between every start and call somebody else up. Like, the Reds are kind of stuck between a rock and a hard place here, Nick. And I respect what you're saying, and I completely agree with that. It's not ideal, but like at this point, rubber arm it. Just rubber arm it. I mean, we're going to talk about this later in the show, but like literally the broadcast showed Nick Martinez as your projected starter for Tuesday, and he just threw like 2 days ago. So
I don't have a problem with Martinez because he's been used as a starter and a reliever. It's just Aguiar is a 23-year-old prospect that just got called up to the big leagues that's trying to get his feet wet in the big leagues. I don't really like jerking him around. Maybe the Reds
getting his feet wet, he's diving right in, baby.
Maybe the Reds don't have very high expectations of Aguiar. That might also be.
If we're being honest, I don't think he's projected to be part of the starting rotation in 2025 if the Reds are healthy. Like,
he's not, but he is a top 15 prospect right now in your organization. So I don't know. I would prefer to have those guys kind of be he's the 11th ranked prospect right now in the organization. I'm kind of like those guys to be a little bit more protected personally, but I do get they're in an absolute dumpster fire of a spot pitching wise, and they're trying to figure out on a day-to-day basis, and thankfully there are a lot of off days as we get later in the month of September, so they can really manipulate it a little bit more. But I mean Andrew Abbott, Graham Ashcraft, Hunter Green, Nick Lodolo, Christian Roa, all on the IL. I mean, those were 5 of your top 8, 9 guys in starting pitching organization depth coming into the year. I mean, Rowe was actually, I think, pretty high up on the depth of starting pitchers coming into the year because he was added to the 40-man roster this offseason. But yeah, we'll see. They'll piece it together. All right, we'll talk a little bit more about the bullpen because there's a lot of really good stuff in the bullpen today. I'm not really sure exactly how they did it completely. Before we get to that, let's talk about the Game Time app. I know Trace used the Game Time app today to head down to the ballpark. able to get some great seats. Just a really seamless app. I personally, I love the layout of the app and how easy it is to use. I love the seat views. You can see exactly where each seat are. It's just it's a really cool app, and I really would encourage you to download the app today. Be sure to use the promo code Cincy, CINCY. That'll get you $20 off your first purchase. Terms do apply, but use the code Cincy, CINCY, $20 off your first purchase. Download the Game Time app today. And also want to remind you about 988. You can call or text 988 anytime at all for confidential support 24/7. Anything related to mental health, 988 is always there. And thank you to our sponsors there for that. All right, so let's get into the bullpen today. It was a wild day. I mean, Carson Spires, he got through it. I don't know how he did. I mean, he gives 3 hits, 3 walks, and 2 1/3. Only gave across 1 run. It felt like he really worked his way around. Sam Moll looked really good. Retired all 4 batters that he faced. Emilio Pagan looked really good. Good to see. He had that one really bad outing, that really ugly. I don't remember. Was it a blown save, Craig, or it was something big, ugly late? But he's looked pretty good his last couple times since then. Any thoughts about the rest of the bullpen today?
I mean, for a bullpen that's been absolutely worn down, for these guys to have to come in and pitch, Sam Ball pitched 4 outs. He doesn't do that very often. Carson Spires has to come in. He has 7 different men work 3 ball counts. I think he ended up with like 50 something pitches in 2 1/3 innings, 65 pitches in 2 1/3 innings. Not ideal there. Emilio Pagan comes in. He looked really good, as you mentioned. Retires the first 5 men that he faces before giving up the single to Jason Hayward. I mean, in general, the fact that these guys are so overworked and so worn out, I'm sure at this point, but are still fighting. I mean, we can say what we want, but I mean, the team is still fighting. We still got that competitive edge in us. Still holding out hope. We're not eliminated yet, so we're gonna keep trying our best.
Love it. Yeah, Emilio Pagan going 2 1/3. I mean, I don't think that was ever in the plans for how you were going to use Emilio Pagan. So certainly,
longest outing of his career.
No.
Of the year.
Of the year. Okay, not his career.
Sorry. I said career. I meant year.
I pulled it up. I literally have it up. It was the longest since he did actually with Minnesota go 2 1/3 last June. But he has not gone more than 2 innings very often. Went 2 innings a couple weeks ago for the Reds too. Actually gone
pitched 3 straight days last week, right? And then I think he had a couple days off this weekend and then coming back today, basically on 2 days rest after pitching 3 straight days to go 2 1/3. Not allow a run. Pretty good.
Pretty good stuff from the 33-year-old. All right, so let's get to it. Craig, the pop-up heard around the world. Our good friend Ned Flanders chimed in. Most important question of the day. Whose fault was the dropped pop-up? I'm told the only correct answer is David Bell. Your thought? That's probably fair, Ned, because David Bell is really the only one that you can blame on that one. I don't know. I was more focused on the Dragons game. What was your thoughts on this?
All right. I have lots of thoughts. Maybe not lots of thoughts. I have a couple thoughts. First and foremost, regardless of what happened, that ball hit Jonathan India in the glove. He should have caught it. Let's just start there. Should have been a catch, regardless of what happened and why he took his eyes off the ball, all of that stuff. The ball literally landed in his mitt. He's got to catch it. However, with that being said, the thing over the last several weeks that we've seen with Ellie is this little cat and mouse game that he's been playing with Noelvi Marte and with others, where even when he's not catching the ball, he's sliding over and being right next to them. And look, I'm the biggest fan of Adrian Beltre. I love the fun that he had on the field and what he was able to do with Elvis Andrus back in the early 2000s and into the 2010s. But like, realistically, that stuff is distracting. It has to be distracting. Like, whether he called Jonathan India off or not, whether Jonathan India heard something and thought that he called him off, Jonathan India's look after the play certainly told me that he thought that Ellie was going to come catch it. I didn't see in any replays that indicated that Ellie actually called for it, though. So it may have just been that India saw him coming out of the corner of his eye. He thought that he was going to take it. He didn't even back off, if we're being honest. He just stopped and looked at Ellie. He was camped right under the ball. Like, he stops, he looks at Ellie, then he looks back up. He's like, oh, and the ball's right there in his mitt. So, couple thoughts. Should have caught it. Ellie's got to stop it. Let's move on.
I'm glad they won today, so this isn't the only thing that got talked about. Because if they win, we can kind of gloss past stuff like this. If they lose, burn everything to the ground. That's how we handle everything in life here in Reds land. I don't know. It kind of feel like if you're called off, you should probably move the hell out of the way and not let the ball hit you. I mean,
right.
Never played high level professional baseball, but I think if you're called off, you typically don't let the ball hit you. I think that kind of goes with it. So I don't know if he was called off or not, but when the ball hits your glove, I think it's a little more on you. That's how I view it, but it is what it is. I mean, it is what it is. I don't know.
It is what it is. Literally is what it is. It was Alvarez didn't advance past first. He got out on a fielder's choice the next 2 pitches later. They got out of the inning without any damage. It is what it is. But again, to my point, there's an opportunity for that to be a problem. And if it's one thing if he's going to do it with Noelvi and Noelvi knows that he's going to do it and it's like part of their little game. But when you cross over to second base and Jonathan India isn't expecting it, which he clearly wasn't, whole different ball game. Yeah.
We move on. Congrats to both guys on getting on base multiple times today. Indy on base 3 times, Ellie on base twice. So good for them. I kind of wish they would have been pulled from the game, yanked right there. Both of them, get them out of the game. Let's send a message.
A real manager would have.
He would have, yeah. All right, any other thoughts?
This is the least fundamental baseball team I've ever seen, Nick. Ever.
Yes, as every fan of every baseball team has said this year. All right. Any other thoughts on this game before we get into Reds MILB? I know we've already buried the lead on Reds MILB, but anything else?
No.
All right. Well, as mentioned, the Dayton Dragons, if you missed it earlier, they're officially in the playoffs. We're excited about that. Not much of a ball game today. Just one hit, a bunt single from Jay Allen. Was several walks, though. The Dragons have had a much better overall plan at the plate. A lot of guys. Leo Balcazar is the guy who hasn't walked at all. Walked in this one. Jay Allen walked twice. But again, the Dayton Dragons, the game 1 of their playoff series will be next Tuesday, so we'll be excited about that. I would imagine the rest of this week, your Dayton Dragons box score is going to be a lot of guys getting days off, resting this week. But they are off tomorrow. They play again Wednesday through Sunday in Great Lakes. In action right now, Daytona, they're up 6-1 over Bradenton. The Tortugas, they have a 2.5 game lead, I believe. Let me double check that. They have a 2.5 game lead with 6 games to play. So a win today would go a long way. If you're a podcast listener, I did go back and record. I'm not doing that tonight. Love you all. I will post on the Chatterbox Twitter account, the Reds MILB report later tonight, so you can check it out there. But the Tortugas have a 6-1 lead at the moment. That's going into the 6th inning. Yerlin Confidant 1 for 3. Sammy Stafora, he is 1 for 2. Peyton Stovall, recent pick, he has a double in this one. So some good stuff so far from the Tortugas. All right, and the Reds back in action on Wednesday. We got an off day, And then the Reds will be taking on the Astros, looking to keep this 7-game win streak against the Astros alive. Nick Martinez, I guess he's back on the mound again on a couple days rest. This guy, shout out to Nick Martinez, up against Spencer Arrighetti. You think I got it, Craig?
Spencer Spaghetti.
Tell us about Spencer Spaghetti. I know you did some hard diving research into Spencer Spaghetti.
I did. Spencer Spaghetti, 7-11 on the year, 4.63 ERA in 24 games for the rookie. He was drafted by the Astros in the 6th round of the 2021 MLB draft, promoted earlier this year. In his first major league appearance, he allowed 7 runs on 7 hits in 3 innings. But he's been really stellar. His last 2 outings took a no-hitter into the 8th. The last time out against the Philadelphia Phillies, he went 7 2/3, gave up 2 hits, no runs, did walk 4 in that outing, but struck out 11. Time before that against Baltimore, 6 innings, 3 hits, no runs, 1 walk, and 6 strikeouts. He struck out at least 10 batters 4 different times in his short career already and became the first player in AL history to strike out 12 batters each in consecutive starts. He did that on August 4th when he struck out 12 against the Rays, and then on the 10th when he struck out 13 against the Boston Red Sox. So strikes out a lot of guys, relying on 5 pitches. 4-seam fastball sits about 94. He throws that 41% of the time. Cutter 20% of the time, curveball 20% of the time. Then he also throws a sweeper and a changeup.
Well, good for Mr. Spaghetti, but he's never faced the Reds before, and the Astros don't beat the Reds. So, I mean...
And the Reds don't strike out, so...
Spencer Spaghetti is screwed. It's going to be a tough night for him on Wednesday. All right. Any final parting thoughts here, Craig?
No, enjoy tomorrow off. No game tomorrow. A weird little no Tuesday game here, so
yeah,
enjoy no Reds game.
Yeah. Gonna enjoy the day off. Also, not a whole lot of minor league baseball. So, I think the Bats and the Lookouts play tomorrow, but those are the 2 teams we're not really all that invested in at the moment. The Tortugas and the Dragons are both off on Tuesday, following the Reds' lead.
There you go. Chatterbox Bengals will be live tomorrow, though. Week 1 of the NFL season. I believe it'll be live at 6 p.m. Eastern. I'm in Vegas, so I won't be on the show, but Jacob will be holding it down with a special guest host. So be sure to tune in and support that show as well as we gear up for week 1 against the New England Patriots.
Yeah, a lot of good stuff. Make sure you subscribe to Chatterbox Sports on YouTube. You hit that bell up in the top right corner. It turns on notifications, so anytime we go live, you'll be notified. So, yeah, a lot of good content coming this fall. A lot of good stuff coming. Something really cool in November. I don't know if I'm allowed to say anything about it or not, but it's really cool. So I'll just tease it with that. But a lot of good stuff with Chatterbox. So stay tuned. We'll continue to grind through the rest of this regular season. And at least we got minor league playoff baseball, Craig. We got minor league playoff baseball. That is something I can certainly get excited about, and I'm pumped about it next week. Craig, appreciate you as always coming in and helping us keep this show afloat. We could not do it without you. And thanks, everyone, for watching, everyone in the chat. We will see you Wednesday night, 9th inning, 9:10-ish p.m. Have a fantastic rest of your Labor Day. And as always, go Reds.